Carl and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And it's They Made What into a TV series. We continue with Castlevania, Season 4, Episode 3, Walk Away. Directed by Sam Dietz and written by Warren Ellis. And finally, it starts to feel like we are moving forward. Seems like, okay, we've written our fillery stuff. Because we can't even call them the catch-up stuff because nothing really was caught up with. It just was a continuation. Now, I've started to feel like we're moving forward. But you know why I start to feel like we're moving forward? Because this episode starts by focusing on the character that we should be focusing on more than any other. Isaac. Have you come to realise now, right? It's episode 3 of season 4.
Yeah.
Running to episode 10.
Yeah.
Have you come to now believe or understand that Isaac is not going to be a big bad?
Yes.
That we don't have enough time?
Yep.
That any attempt to try and turn into a big bad problem and a long-term villain or anything like that is out the window.
No, I'm now convinced that that he's officially turned, man. This episode, you know, I mean, the first 5 minutes of the episode, I felt like season 4 had finally arrived.
Okay.
Because it's again, it's not criticising because the first episodes were okay. But this starts season 4 for me now.
It is criticism of those. You can totally criticise them and all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm always more interested in what Isaac's got going on. His side of the story from the moment he got dumped out. Because it's funny, as a character that was introduced in season 2, felt a bit odd. And then obviously the end of season 2 being dumped where he was. He's been the most compelling character to follow along with.
Yep, definitely.
And we begin seeing the one night creature with a name, Flysees, that one, the one that Isaac spoke to around the camp, playing with a doll, as another night creature wonders what it is doing. It seems as though Isaac has instructed the night creatures to bury the dead of the magician's city and rebuild it, which is unusual. Flysees goes to see Isaac, who seems somewhat at peace, seems a bit more relaxed.
Yep.
And the night creature asks Isaac about their current purpose and reminds the Forge Master of their actual purpose. Isaac reminds the creature that they serve his will, and Flysees claims he doesn't understand Isaac's will. So I thought that was a really interesting thing to get around, not defiance, because Isaac doesn't treat them like slaves, but like obviously their purpose is to serve him and so on. And it wants to ask questions, but it obviously doesn't want to upset or anger its master.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's about, we don't fully understand your will, what you actually desire, or what you actually, you know.
I mean, I think some of the best work in this show is when Isaac's talking. You know, with Isaac and the captain, Isaac and the guy with the mirror, the magician guy, and just with the fly guy now, you know,
Indeed, because it questions why Isaac is making them go against their nature, because their nature is to destroy and to spoil. And again, I thought, yeah, that's kind of cool. But Isaac kind of points out to it that, like, that nature was decided by others. Is that actually got to be your nature? But others have said this is what you do. Yep. What if that isn't, you know? And I thought, okay, that's an interesting way to look at it. What if it could be different, basically? Isaac says that the city can have life in the future, and that's what he wants now. It appears as though his purpose is changing, and the souls he takes from hell, he plans to try and give new purpose here. So it's not so much that he's going to continue what he's doing, but the idea is maybe he can give him new purpose. He's basically, I presume, envisioning a city of night creatures at peace.
Yeah.
Flysees points out that Isaac is changing. He recognises his desire for revenge isn't as strong. The fight is still there, but it may not be the same fight it was once before. This felt natural.
Yep.
This felt natural from Isaac's journey, from who he met, from who he spoke to, and from having to deal with things like the magician and the people who tried to stop him on the way. This has felt like a natural progression to this point. That it's a similar exhaustion, but more from a whole, I get it now. Maybe it doesn't have to be this way. Maybe I don't want it to be this way.
He's seen a lot because he's gone from evil people to people being imprisoned and murdered for no reason. Yeah.
Isaac goes to the top of the magician's tower and reflects on what he's done here and the fact that he's chosen to slow down, albeit temporarily. Killing the magician felt just, and he likes that feeling. And it was there. I was like, there it is.
Yep.
He killed someone that was doing evil. Like, and I imagine in his head, he might have had a thought of like, was this what it felt like for those who killed Dracula?
Yes.
Like the justness of stopping something bad. He no longer feels like a tool for others to will and sees that he can make real change. There is a worrisome side to that thing. It still screams trouble, some issue, because meaning you change has to be forced sometimes, and how do you force change?
Yeah.
As he sits down to drink and read, his magic mirror activates and reveals Varney. I was a bit like, fucking Varney. Varney reminds Isaac of who he is and asks for his help in resurrecting Dracula, and that made me laugh, and I thought that was some of the worst writing in the show.
Yeah.
We don't even know who Varney is. So what I'll do, because Isaac's all like, I don't remember you. And Varney's like, well, I'm this guy and I'm that guy and all that. And I was like, that is so lazy.
Yeah, it's just like a quick...
it wasn't for Isaac, it was for us.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was like, nah, mate, I'm not convinced. He was not at Dracula's court. We saw a lot of vampires there.
Yeah.
He asks for Isaac's help in resurrecting Dracula. And Isaac wonders what the point of this is and refuses to help. Intriguing.
Yeah, that is, because that was his main... Well, not his main goal, but...
I don't think he ever really had a goal. I think he just wanted revenge. I don't think he ever even considered the thought of that.
Was he even aware it was possible?
I'd imagine if he'd put his mind to it, he would have been like, well, because he brings things from hell.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, but then couldn't it just bring Dracula back from hell?
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way, does it? It's the soul of the person.
Yeah, of course.
So, do you know what I mean? And Dracula's body, like, it doesn't have a body. He's a vampire. Well, I'd imagine that's the point of, like, vampires, is why their bodies turn to dust. Is they go, when they die, they can't be brought back.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a human body for them to come back to, basically. What are we up to? Varney's not happy and complains to Ratko, insisting that they'll do it without him. I was like, crack on, mate. I'm not that interested in you. I'm just not. I love the voice actor. I love the fact we've kind of got a British accent going on here with some of the Britishism. He's a sweary motherfucker as well.
Yeah.
You know, he seems like he's quite vile.
Yeah.
Like a vile character.
Definitely.
Elsewhere, at a campsite, Morgana and Striga talk. They're tired and sick of being on the road. So this is why I was like, oh, okay. This is what you didn't do very well in episode 2. Tell me a significant time had passed. A couple of weeks had passed.
Yeah.
Because we did it with Trevor and Cypher going backwards, but that brought us back up to speed rather than like, a month later. And that's why Hector was walking around the castle and maybe got a bit more comfortable and scoped things out and all these things. They've been on the road for a period of time, enough to feel tired and not want to be on the road.
Yep.
Morana reflects on the scheme, wondering if it's all worth it, especially the death and destruction. She also points out that once they start pushing, the humans are going to push back and that wars never end. I love that talk where she says that, because I do love the fact that it's occasionally we're reminded that humanity isn't that much of a shit heap, and that when pushed too far, they will gather, they will rise up.
Right.
And enough humans can cause a lot of bloody problems. Case in point, though, their camp is attacked by humans who are smart enough to attack during the day. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But Striga has day armor. She puts on day armor, which looks incredible. It does. And along with the other soldiers, kills their attackers. It is one of the bloodiest and most brutal action scenes on both sides. But it's also really cool to see the vampires get their asses handed to them here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vampires that die here.
They're
cutting open the tents, all stuff like that. It was good.
That's the thing.
It's always going to be a weakness to vampires.
Exactly, you know, and again, it shows what she was saying before, that we could potentially lose and get killed.
Well, the best part is she goes, after the battle done, she returns to Morana, and they reflect on the fact that the humans who attacked weren't soldiers, weren't like, you know, an army. It was humans. It was people that were, you know, just normal people, farmers. Basically, farmers and all that, and that's always going to be a problem. She also shares her concerns that the fighting and war will never end. The humans will not just roll over and die. So it's not about... Their thing, it's not about feeling bad or not thinking, we don't want to do this. It's basically, it's probably going to be too hard, or it may not be possible.
Yeah.
Carmilla now contacts her sisters, telling that Hector's ready to make the night creatures and urges them to come home. Finally, back in Targa Vista, Trevor and Cypher see that the city has a lot of issues. Dead bodies in the streets, the people are malnourished and sick. You can see there's problems. Trevor can't understand why the city is still a gathering point for vampires. Like, what? Why here? Now, I was a bit like, well, maybe because it's the site of Dracula's, but then I was like, he didn't die here.
No.
There's no real reason for them to be here, particularly if it's a dead city. He's not coming here for food either, because there's the people in there are sick and dying and all that.
Some sort of gateway, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. Trevor can't understand why the city, is a gathering point, as I said. He then notices the stone he took glows in the light, and he realizes it might be something special, putting it into the hilt of the magic dagger to energize it. Felt like that was a little convenience. Finding the dagger, finding the stone, putting it together. It's like, okay. And I'm like, you know what? But it is still a video game. TV show adaptation.
Yeah.
Some of the video game, you just find stuff. Zamfir arrives and the group talk about trust. Trevor and Cypher want to look around and point at Zamfir that the city is a mess. And they walk off with Cypher refusing to be a player in another person's story. And again, that felt like, oh, come on, man. Like, oh no, we're not ready yet. Like that kind of thing. I'm not entirely sold on his character of Zamfir at the moment.
No, but I get why they're not quick to jump in, because
Of course.
they jumped in previously and it went Owen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get they want to check that out. But going back to our talk from the last episode, the bit where in the tent is where I'm starting to notice a bit like they're not really on board with Camilla's plan. And
I'm
too much into it. Yeah,
it's not that you're thinking too much into it. You're right. None of them are on board to the level that Carmilla is, right? But the issue is that you're getting that and going, right, well, what's the end point of that? And then you're leaping to
betrayal,
like a twist, a conclusion. That could be the case. Of course, it could be the case. But you've got to ask yourself: has the show done anything up? And if it was, would it feel earned? I would if that was a thing they did, I would be mad, because why have you spent 10 episodes or 2 seasons telling me about how united they are and how much they love each other? That betrayal, it'd be too much. The only way it could work was if they all are together, almost like a Julius Caesar murder. Where they think they're doing it for the greater good. And it's not so much betrayal of Carmilla, or what is betrayal. It's not so much through anger or fear or hate, but more because we can't carry on like this, and you are the problem. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, we're still baby stepping our way through this season. We still are. That much is clear. It's nice to catch up with Isaac. It's nice to get an understanding of what he might be thinking. It still feels like he's stalled now, though, because right now you're like, well, okay, there's no way this is the end part of his story, right?
No way.
So what are we going? How are we going to get to the next part?
That's one thing, because I mean, obviously I've seen episode 4, and there's still like 5-6 episodes ago.
6 episodes, yeah.
I think there's a lot to put in, still a lot to squeeze in.
There is going to be a lot to squeeze in, which means we're likely to get a faster, more frantic latter part.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily needed to be this way. I feel like it could have been spread. But we say it again. This is a good episode.
Yeah, definitely.
This is an enjoyable episode, the best one of the season so far.
Yep.
And even though it's not as great as some of the stuff we've seen in the past, it's still moving the story forward, even if it's slow. And that's what I'm happy with.
Yep.
And I'm still enjoying it. It's still good Castlevania story.
Yeah, definitely.
Episode 3, walk away. Got any thoughts? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.